Can I now request Topista Birunchi to come and lead us in the opening prayer?
I beg your indulgence. I move this to praise the Lord. I'm not a pastor. I'm here to lead the prayer. In which capacity? My name's Topista Birungi Mayanja, the founder General Secretary of Uganda National Teachers Union, the teacher, the cause for which we are here. I'm the chairperson of the trustees board of this teachers union. And in this capacity, I am here to lead a prayer to invoke the Lord, to thank him. Dear Lord, we want to thank you so much. We glorify you. We give you thanks for your great glory. Lord, we thank you so much for the political leadership of this country. We thank you so much for the political leadership of the Ministry of Education. We thank you for the civic and the technical leadership of the Ministry of Education, the purpose for which we are here. Lord, we thank you for the teachers. We thank you for the teachers of this country. We thank you for all those in partnership who have enabled the teachers to support this country, to take leadership into the recovery. Lord, you know the disruption we have gone through. Lord, you know how much reimagination and re-engineering we need in the education sector for the good of this country. We thank you for the Teachers Union Wunatu, for leadership they are taking, as demonstrated by organizing this kind of function. Lord, you said we should ceasingly pray. We continue to pray that all that has been done to enhance the status, professionalism, and the morale of the teachers goes beyond where it is, to the extent that you send the Holy Spirit to the leadership of this country, that we continue, including designating the Teachers' Day, 5th October, a public holiday, as teachers lead the recovery from this disruption. I have prayed to you, Lord, through Jesus Christ our Lord. Amen.
Your Excellency and Mama, you can take your seats. Your Excellency, the President of the Republic of Uganda, Mama, the First Lady and the Minister of Education and Sports, the Honorable Ministers of State from the Ministry of Education and Sports, our Member of Parliament, who is also the former Chair of UNATU, Honorable Margaret Rabsheija, His Excellency the Ambassador of Ireland, who is also the Chair of our Education Development Partners, the directors and senior officials of government who are here with us, the chairperson of the Board of Trustees, the chairperson UNATU, and the General Secretary UNATU, the teachers, the great teachers of the great Republic, who are representing many other teachers that are at home today, the media, who are our key partners, our invited guests, ladies and gentlemen. I would like to take this singular opportunity to welcome you, Your Excellency, to this very important occasion in your great republic. Thank you for finding time for us, the teachers. We did appreciate that you couldn't make it last week on 5th, but we are so delighted that you found time for us this week. Most welcome. We also would like to welcome Mama, the chief teacher, who is here with us and who is steering the work of education, training and sports in the Ministry of Education and Sports. Mama, we are very proud of you and we welcome you. This day, Your Excellency and Mama, is a very special day. Due to COVID-19, we only have representatives. But these who are seemingly few are representing about 550,000 teachers across the board, from pre-primary through to university. And we are here to celebrate our day because we know that we are the foundation of the nation. Your Excellency, we are aware that since you started efforts of alleviating poverty in this country, all those programs that have been there until now, the national development plans, education has been a key pillar to make your vision happen. And so we come here to celebrate our day and to say that yes, we recognize our position in the transformation of Uganda from the current peasantry to the prosperous and modern Uganda that we want it to be. And these few who are representing others are here to say we can make it happen, because once we are transforming the minds of children and young people, the transformed young people will be able to get the transformed competencies, the transformed values, the transformed attitudes, and those will enable us to transform our beloved country. So once again, you are very, very welcome. Join me to welcome our chief guests. I wouldn't want to go beyond this, considering that it's called early afternoon, but now to request the Secretary General of UNATU to come, Your Excellency, and introduce generally who is here today with us. Philbert.
Thank you, Master of Ceremonies, Your Excellency, and our Honorable Minister of Education and Sports. Here before you, we have got a representation. Your Excellency, we have the ministers who work with the First Lady in the Ministry of Education and Sports, and they are all here, the three ministers. Your Excellency, we have one of our own, our founder national chairperson of Uganda National Teachers Union, who is now a member of Parliament representing workers in the 11th Parliament, Honorable Margaret Rwabushaija. Your Excellency, we have education development partners, and these are led by the chair, who is none other than the Ambassador of Ireland. He is here with us. We also have UNESCO represented here. Charles is here with us. Your Excellency, we have permanent secretaries, and so far we have the permanent secretary, Ministry of Education and Sports, who is here with us. And we have the secretary to Education Service Commission here with us. Your Excellency, we also have the chairperson of Education Service Commission, who is represented by Madam Mrs. Gabona Elizabeth. We have commissioners, we have directors of departments in the Ministry of Education and Sports, and so far we have 2 directors here. We have Dr. Jane Gau, and we have Dr. Kedres to the agenda, who is the Master of Ceremonies. We have commissioners from the Ministry of Education and Sports, and so far I can see the Commissioner 48. Teacher Education, Training and Development. Your Excellency, we have the Executive Director of Education and Social Affairs in the Kampala Capital City Authority, Madame Namudu Juliet. She's here with us. We have our leadership of Uganda National Teachers Union, led by our national chairperson, Mr. Tumuhimbise Zadok, and the team of leaders from the entire country. Your Excellency, these representatives you see here are coming from all corners of the country, so the whole country is represented here today. We have other stakeholders here with us. The teacher leaders are from both private and public institutions. We have our stakeholders who were invited to join us. Because of the numbers, which were limited, we could only pick representatives from these areas, and here with us, they are here to represent the entire teaching fraternity. I hand back to the Master of Ceremonies. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Waguma, for that introduction. Can I request that teachers, those who are representing the rest of UNATO across the country, to stand up? Great, thank you very much. Your Excellency, I would like now to take this opportunity to welcome His Excellency the Ambassador of Ireland to come and give us a message on behalf of our education development partners. Welcome, Your Excellency.
Okay. Your Excellency, President Yoweri Museveni, Honourable Minister of Education and Sports and First Lady, Ministers, Ministers of State, Members of Parliament, Permanent Secretaries and your technical teams here present, development partners and UN and civil society representatives, and especially to our guests of honour, the teachers here present. Ladies and gentlemen, all protocol observed. I'm delighted to be here among you to celebrate World Teachers' Day. I love being with teachers. They're always so full of life and so positive in their outlook. It is an important day in the calendar of any country, but today, 18 months since the COVID pandemic has disrupted life as we know it, it takes on an importance that we cannot overstate. I will begin with a quote about those that are here to honour today. A mediocre teacher tells, the good teacher explains, the superior teacher demonstrates, the great teacher inspires, and never have we needed inspiration more than we do today. Since March 2000, some of the basic elements of life have been denied to us around the world. Hugging our grandchildren, and as a new grandparent, I know what that's like. Going to work, visiting our friends and family, certainly one of the most difficult, being unable to send our children to school. Around the world, the value and importance of teachers in the lives of our children have taken on a new meaning. Indeed, our appreciation of this profession, denied to us in order to protect the health of the public, has only multiplied. So I am honoured to join the celebration on behalf of the Education Development Partners Group in Uganda. Firstly, I would like to congratulate the Government of Uganda for prioritising the vaccination of teachers. This commitment, made as far back as March 2021, is a clear signal that teachers are highly valued in Ugandan society. Many education development partners have contributed vaccines such as Belgium, Norway, the US, UK and Ireland to support your own government's efforts to roll out vaccines quickly. And I would encourage all teachers to participate in this. Your Excellency, Minister of Education and First Lady, it is fantastic to see the vaccination coverage of teachers increase on a daily basis. Recent figures highlighted that almost 60% have received at least one dose, with 20% fully vaccinated. I'm sure these figures have moved even further upwards since those figures, so I would like to applaud the Ministry of Health and the Ministry of Education and Sports for this fantastic progress. Speaking as the lead of the Education Partners Group, and I know that this celebration is welcomed by each and every one of them at this important time, many of them work directly and provide support to teachers in order to build their professional development, provide access to best practice and the latest research and teaching methods. In addition, many work with professional bodies such as UNATU, who play a critical role in representing this pillar of society. I would like to acknowledge the extensive support and funding provided by partners such as Belgium, UNICEF, UNESCO, UK, US and others. Ireland has supported the education sector in Uganda for over 2 decades. In my previous time here in Uganda, I had the good fortune to chair the Education Donor Group 20 years ago, so it's great to see the progress. Between 2016 and 2020, Ireland has invested over 18 million in both Karamoja and at national level. And within that, support to teachers has been central. Since 2017, we've had a very specific focus to acknowledge teachers. In partnership with the New Vision Group, Ireland launched the Teachers Making a Difference Award in order to honour and award Uganda's best teachers. Based on nominations from the public, this small initiative offers a platform to select those model teachers who inspire, who go the extra mile, who make the difference. The response from the public has grown each year, proving that communities, villages and parents value the teachers and want them to be recognised. While this award was on hold during 2021, we look forward to bringing the winning teachers from the previous 2 years to Ireland in 2022 to engage with Irish teachers and exchange in learning and practice. When we had a visit of teachers to Uganda in 2018, I know they went home inspired and humbled by the dedication, resourcefulness, innovation and commitment that they had seen in their Ugandan counterparts. And when the winning Ugandan teachers travelled to Ireland, they were true ambassadors for your country, inspiring those they met along the way. We look forward to continuing to award Uganda's top teachers and work closely with the Ministry of Education and Sports on this. The COVID disruption worldwide has denied teachers access to their classrooms, and where children were denied access to their teachers. It is thankfully beginning to give way to a horizon of hope, where learners will gradually return to universities and places of learning. As Uganda prepares to open its institutions, education partners, including Ireland, stand ready to work in partnership with the government to safely reopen schools and ensure that the risks are minimised for both children, teachers and their families. We know there are specific challenges in the coming months, and we will work together to address these, and I would like to just mention a few. We must work together to ensure that schools and classrooms are safe places to learn. This will mean supporting the implementation of the COVID SOPs and surveillance of COVID in schools. Teachers will require support, more support than ever, to return to the classroom. Returning to work after a long period requires adaptation, support and transition. We know many teachers, especially those in the private sector, by necessity turn to other projects during the pandemic. So it is critical that we succeed in attracting this precious resource back to delivering education. Ensuring that teachers are recognised and motivated and valued is fundamental to a performing education system. I know that Uganda launched the important National Teacher Policy in 2019, whose implementation was disrupted, but together we can return to the ambition of this important document. We must also continue to invest in digital learning. As COVID closed schools, those who were privileged with internet and devices were switching online learning, but many were left out and disparities and inequalities became even wider. The SDG 4 targets better education for all, and we must continue to bridge this digital divide, as technology can also connect teachers to learning, innovation and exchange. I know that the Minister of Education and Sports, First Lady, has already developed its digital agenda strategy and is working to develop the ICT and education policy. We as partners look forward to supporting the Ministry to ensure more teachers access the benefits of the digital aid. So, to conclude, let me join in the celebration of the profession that is the backbone of society, the workforce that guides students on a journey of wonder and learning so that they may realise their full potential and inspire their families, communities and countries. As a famous Irish poet said, William Butler Yeats, education is not filling a pail, but lighting a fire. Over the last 18 months, we have all felt the shadow of this pandemic. But now let us stoke the embers together and fan the fires of education to light our way again. Teachers of Uganda, we applaud you, we stand ready to support you and remind you that you are not forgotten and you are more important than ever. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Can we put our hands together again to appreciate those words from the chair of our education development partners? If you will forget a number of things from his write-up, at least do not forget that great teachers inspire. And I hope that you will resolve from today's celebration to be that. Appreciate your support as an education sector, and we especially appreciate your support to the teacher. Yes, we do acknowledge that the teacher is the backbone and that the teacher has, during this COVID-19, the role of a teacher has been realized afresh. You hear parents crying, we want these students to go back to school, and yet they are the parents, knowing that there is another great teacher there at a place called school. So thank you very, very much indeed for standing with us and for also offering to stand with us moving forward. We definitely have no doubt that that will be done, and we are ready to walk hand in hand with you as we recover from this pandemic. We are confident that God was not sleeping. We are confident that out of this heavy cloud that has been over the entire universe, there is a silver lining. There is a special learning. There are special lessons that will help us to move better as we move forward in life. Your Excellency and the First Lady, allow me now to invite the chairperson of UNATU Uganda to come, and eventually he will be followed by the Secretary General to give us the message of the World Teachers' Day. Welcome.
Your Excellency, the President of the Republic of Uganda, the First Lady and Minister of Education and Sports, honorable ministers and member of Parliament present, our education development partners, the senior government officials present, the trade union fraternity, all UNAT leaders and members present, the media fraternity, ladies and gentlemen, all protocol observed. Happy World Teachers Day 2021, and congratulations upon the 2021 and the 59th Independence celebrations. Your Excellency, World Teachers Day is a global annual event celebrated on 5th October. On 5th October 2021, we celebrated World Teachers Day through organized activities and the theme, Teachers at the Heart of Education Recovery. Today, I came leading a strong delegation composed of strong men and women, the teachers, coming here to represent thousands of teachers who could not make it coming here because of restrictions in numbers as we celebrate the 2021 World Teachers Day at the national level. Your Excellency, on behalf of Uganda National Teachers Union, the entire teaching fraternity and my own, allow me to convey our sincere, heartfelt appreciation for your continued acceptance to host us at our National World Teachers Day celebrations and accepting to preside over our functions as our chief guest. We are so grateful and we thank you so much. We appreciate the efforts and the guidance accorded to us by the Minister of Education, the First Lady to us. Together with her team, we thank you so much and appreciate, and we appreciate pledge our maximum support toward this realizing quality education for national development. Your Excellency, we have a detailed 2021 World Teachers Day message. So at this moment, I request that you allow me to invite our official spokesperson to present it on our behalf. With that permission granted, I request that the General Secretary comes and makes that presentation on our behalf. Thank you so much. Solidarity, because we are, the nation is, for God and my country.
Thank you very much. This is the message by the leadership of Uganda National Teachers Union. Your Excellency, the President of the Republic of Uganda, the honorable ministers, the Member of Parliament, trade union fraternity present here, education development partners, senior government officials, all stakeholders present here, protocol observed. Happy World Teachers Day 2021. The teachers are honored that you chose to commemorate the 2021 World Teachers Day with us. Your presence today has shown that you agree with the undeniable fact that the teaching profession is one of the great nobility that deserves to be celebrated. Your Excellency, thank you. Your Excellency, thank you for officiating over the second Scientific National World Teachers Day celebrations. The teachers are thankful that amidst the COVID-19 pandemic and the challenges therein, you continue to recognize and acknowledge the importance of teachers. You have clearly communicated to the teachers that you see them, you value them, and you applaud them. To my colleagues in the teaching fraternity, it is important to remember that despite the challenges in our profession, we must remain proud of who we are and the great contribution we make in grooming the nation's human resource. We make all other professions possible. Our influence is lifelong because we are World Teachers Day, held annually on 5th October since 1994, is an important event for the entire education community worldwide because it gives an opportunity to celebrate the teaching profession and promote the ILO UNESCO recommendation concerning the status of teachers, which was made in 1996, and the UNESCO recommendation concerning the status of higher education teaching personnel in 1997. The theme for this year's World Teachers Day is Teachers at the Heart of Education Recovery. Your Excellency, the COVID-19 pandemic has ravaged the world for close to 2 years, which has ravaged the world for close to 2 years, has hit the teaching fraternity hard. We have lost many of our colleagues to COVID-19, both globally and in Uganda. As we commemorate this year's World Teachers Day, Education International, which is the largest global umbrella organization for teacher trade unions, organized a global tribute event on 5th October 2021 in memory of all the teachers we have lost in this season of COVID-19. In addition to the tribute event, EI launched a memorial website, www.teachercovidmemorial.org, where stories, photos, and messages about our colleagues who have passed away during the pandemic are shared. Your Excellency, I request that we observe a moment of silence to honor and remember our fallen colleagues. These teachers are forever present in our minds. Their contribution will not be forgotten. May their souls rest in eternal peace. Amen. Why the theme, Teachers at the Heart of Education Recovery? Your Excellency, close to 2 years into the COVID-19 crisis, the question on most people's minds is, how can we recover from this crisis? In the education sector, the price that our learners are paying for the crisis is quite high. There are some categories of learners that have received no education since the closure of schools in March 2020. Some categories of learners resumed learning only for it to be interrupted abruptly with other lockdown restrictions issued on 19th June 2021 that led to another forced closure of schools and education institutions due to a surge in the COVID-19 positive cases. In such a situation, one may wonder, what is the future of education? Will our learners ever recover from the learning loss? Does education still matter? As we commemorate World Teachers' Day 2021, the issue of education recovery takes center stage. Your Excellency, teachers are able to rise up to the challenge ahead of them to drive the education sector to recovery. The teachers are ready, committed, and willing to do whatever it takes to support the learners to recover from the learning losses experienced in the past years. Our focus should therefore be placed on the support that the teachers need to contribute to the recovery process. What is needed to prepare and support teachers to be at the heart of education recovery? Your Excellency, the support needed is summarized in the acronym RECOVER to make it easy for you and others to remember. R to stand for remuneration and working conditions. E to stand for education financing. C to stand for continuous professional development. O to stand for the operationalization of the national teachers policy. V to stand for vocational and teacher education. E to stand for engagement and involvement of UNATO. R to stand for recruitment of teachers. And here is the detail: remuneration and working conditions. The COVID-19 pandemic has brought to reality the fact that we do not pay teachers enough for the work that they do. The continuous request for better teacher remuneration and working conditions is very genuine and therefore requires urgent action. Your Excellency, it is unfortunate that government has continued to handle matters concerning teachers' salary enhancement haphazardly, which reflects a lack of seriousness and genuineness. Allow me to recap as follows. In 2018, on the 22nd of June, UNATO and other public service unions signed a collective bargaining agreement with government that clearly highlighted the plans for salary enhancement across all categories of teachers for financial years 2018-19, 2019-20. Furthermore, we agreed that negotiations for financial years 2020-21, 2021-22, and 2022-23 would go on as agreed in the collective bargaining agreement, aiming at removing disparities in scales. Government was represented by the head of public service and secretary to cabinet as the lead person. Your Excellency, the teachers were expectant and hoped that this time around, government would honor the commitments as jointly agreed to be, but only to be disappointed. The collective bargaining agreement would have a great step towards the teachers' salary enhancement if it had been implemented as signed. In 2019, Your Excellency, in the financial year 2019-2020, government did not consider the increment as agreed in the CBA, which led to an industrial action. After a series of back and forth negotiations with the government, on 26 May 2019, you directed your ministers to find an additional 202 billion to cater for an increment to a tune of 50% of the expected amount, which was 502 billion, as enshrined in the CBA. On 13th August 2019, Your Excellency, you invited teacher union leaders alongside representatives of all other categories of public service unions and university teaching and non-teaching staff to explain to us that in financial year 2019-2020, government had agreed to reallocate Uganda shillings 150 billion in the national budget that will benefit public servants in the education sector. Uganda shillings 135 billion to benefit teachers in primary, secondary, and tertiary, while 15 billion was to benefit university teaching and non-teaching staff. Your Excellency, the teachers accepted this offer with hopes that in the next financial year, the commitments in the CBA would be honored. Your Excellency, despite several reminders to the head of public service on government's commitment to teachers, no further progress has been made in the implementation of the collective bargaining agreement. Yet again, another broken promise to the teachers of Uganda. In 2021, Your Excellency, as teachers, we understood that 2020 was a difficult year, with the government having to tackle the critical matter of the COVID-19 pandemic, and therefore agreed to retable the issue of CBA in the ongoing budgeting cycle. In the meantime, Your Excellency, the teachers have received information that Cabinet has approved Uganda shillings 4 million effective financial year 2021-2022 as a monthly salary for one category of teachers who have been categorized as scientists. Your Excellency, the teachers applaud this increment, but need the following clarification from Cabinet. 1. When Cabinet refers to scientists in the teaching profession, which category of teachers is being referred to? In our own understanding and training, teaching of science starts right from the primary education subsector, and this is the foundation of sciences. Teachers serving in the primary subsector teach all subjects including science and normally handle a class alone. Are these part of the said category? 2. What is the grand plan for salary enhancement for the other categories of teachers with the same qualifications and in the same salary scale, but specialized in teaching other fields? 3. If this increment is effected, what happens to the commitment that government formally signed with the teachers in the collective bargaining agreement of 2018? Other recommendations, Your Excellency. The above questions to Cabinet are not meant to block the increment, but are instead intended to answer the questions raised by the teachers and clear the current confusion. As we plan for the reopening of schools, it is important that these issues be clarified, that both government and the teachers are on the same page. It is very clear that as a nation, we are counting on teachers to do their best to help the education sector to recover from the COVID-19 crisis. The way that the said increment is paid should motivate as opposed to demotivating and dividing the teaching fraternity at this critical moment when we plan to reopen our schools and education institutions which have closed for more than 1.5 years. As UNATU, representing different categories of teachers, we are not opposed to the proposed salary increment to the teachers set to benefit. In fact, the union welcomes the proposal set Uganda shillings 4 million as the starting salary for all graduate teachers without discrimination of the level where one is serving, and maintain a 30% over and above the teachers for the teachers of science, as the case has been since 2012. Basing on the principle of equity and fairness, all those with the same qualifications should ideally earn within the same salary scale. This is clearly stipulated in the National Teachers Policy as approved by Cabinet. UNATU also recommends that for purposes of maintaining harmony and avoiding conflict within the teaching sector, the government should expeditiously work out a grand salary enhancement plan for all other categories of teachers with clear timelines and salary structures, such that those that have to wait know what they are waiting for and when they will get it. Your Excellency, as UNATU, we are raising a red flag. There is a lot of anxiety brewing within the different categories of teachers. Without the grand plan for the salary enhancement across all education subsectors, the resumption of the teaching learning process according to the set school calendar could be in jeopardy. This plan should also put into consideration the provisions of public service standing orders concerning supervision and appraisal to clear any discrepancies between supervisors and supervisees. To our colleagues, the scientists, in the teaching profession, I re-echo the words of Richard Whiteley, and this is what he said. A man is called selfish not for pursuing his own good, but for neglecting his neighbors. It is right and fitting for Cabinet to pay the Uganda shillings 4 million. What is not right is for the scientists to castigate colleagues in other fields for having open and honest debate on the matter and labeling them enemies of progress. Science cannot progress without arts or humanities. The two fields must coexist. For example, science is taught in English. For this very reason today, we are celebrating the contribution of the teaching profession as a whole. We are all teachers. We work and live in the same environments. In the spirit of solidarity, let us work together to ensure that as you receive your increment, there is a fair plan in place for your colleagues as well. As Napoleon Hill put it, great achievement is usually born of great sacrifice and is never the result of selfishness. Together, we can achieve more for the teaching fraternity. Against this background, Your Excellency, the establishment of the Salary Review Commission should be expedited to harmonize all salaries within public service. If you recall, Your Excellency, during the 2020 World Teachers' Day national celebrations, which you hosted on 6th October 2020 at State House Entebbe, you assured us that better teacher remuneration is one of your priority areas. You committed to the establishment of a uniform salary review commission that will determine fair salaries for the entire public service in Uganda, including teachers, and asked UNATU for support towards this direction. We have already written to your office a number of times requesting for your audience on these and other matters concerning the education sector. We are still waiting for your audience on these matters, Your Excellency. Your Excellency, I have dwelt a lot on this issue of remuneration because it is an important motivation for teachers. Allow me to continue with other recommendations for supporting teachers in education recovery. Education financing. Capitation grants across all education subsectors must be increased and paid in time to support the teaching running process. Government must ensure no budget cuts to the education sector budget and instead increase it to cater for providing a safe, healthy, enabling, and well-resourced teaching and learning environment. Your Excellency, there is an urgent need to release funds to maintain schools and education institutions as we prepare for school reopening. Your Excellency, we have categories in schools, the security guards, we have to pay for utilities, and right now as we talk, some of the security guards have abandoned the duty because they have not been paid for long. And Your Excellency, in some local governments, money was sent to the school accounts, but it was blocked. They cannot withdraw it. It is unfortunate when we find the schools in bushes, when we find the solar panels being stolen and school property being stolen, just because we have failed to maintain the situation under the school closures, Your Excellency. Continuous professional development. The COVID-19 experience has also fully confirmed that distance education cannot replace school communities. Government must invest in continuous professional development of teachers and other education personnel, including leveling learning to make up for the interrupted education process, so that we take into account the losses and gains that might have been produced during the pandemic. Operationalization of the National Teachers Policy. The National Teachers Policy should be fully operationalized, fast-tracking the establishment of the National Teacher Council and formalization of the National Institute of Teacher Education into a legal entity. Vocational and teacher education. The vocational education and teacher education sectors must be strengthened and supported so that new practitioners are better prepared for future crises and for taking advantage of technological developments to enrich and individualize teaching to meet the needs of all learners. Engagement and involvement of UNATU. The COVID-19 pandemic has brought to light the fact that government cannot work in isolation, especially on matters of education, that are a concern for all. There is a need for continuous engagement with the teachers through their representative unions and associations and other teachers' bodies, as well as stakeholders in education policy formulation and educational decision-making. Recruitment of teachers. Basing on the high enrollment in schools, Ministry of Education and Sports should embark on an urgent teacher recruitment exercise to suit the recommended social distancing teacher-pupil ratio of 1:25 and handle the heavy workload. However, Your Excellency, there is an urgent need to clean up the teacher recruitment process. It is now common knowledge that there is a price attached to each job category. Those that can afford to pay successfully sail through the process. Oftentimes, jobs are advertised with a clear indication of the number of vacancies available. However, much of the distress of teachers, to the distress of the teachers, too many applicants are so shortlisted, subjected to abstract tests that do not take care of their area of specialization, and in cases where the tests are to be done on a computer, the machines provided in most cases are very old, making the whole process frustrating. There is an urgent call, Your Excellency, for an in-depth investigation to uncover the filth in the teacher recruitment process at all levels. Our commitment as UNATU to education recovery. Your Excellency, as UNATU, we are aware that research is a critical component in the education recovery and school reopening process. Research is needed to guide the education sector. One, in the pre-opening phase, we need to assess and ensure the readiness of the education system. Two, the resumption process. We need to ensure that learners, teachers, administrative and other staff are ready to resume teaching and learning. Three, the post-reopening process. We need to strengthen the entire education system to respond better and mitigate the effects of the current and future crises. Our commitment as UNATU is to offer government a practical and profitable partnership in the process of enhancing research to support the recovery process. We have an unbeatable structure right from the school or education institutions to the national level, through which we can gather the data required such that our responses as an education sector are evidence-based. With the right data, the education sector will be on the right road to recovery. Your Excellency, allow me to give accountability on the progress of the World Teachers' Day 2020 requests, which we made to you, Your Excellency. One was on capitalization of teachers' circles. Your Excellency, you recall, in 2011, you pledged 25 billion to UNATU leadership, and this money was supposed to go to the teachers in public institutions. Your Excellency, up to today, we still demand 9 billion 317 million 425,564 from Microfinance Support Center. Your Excellency, all efforts have been made. You have openly, while celebrating World Teachers' Day, on more than 2 occasions, directed Microfinance Support Center to release our money to Walimu SACCO's Union. They have kept a deaf ear. Your Excellency, we have held meetings, communications have been made to no avail. Last year, on 21st October 2020, the acting executive director of Microfinance Support Center wrote to Walimu SACCO's Union and gave this schedule of payment. On 15th November, we were supposed to receive 2.5 billion. On 30th November, 2.5 billion. On 31st December, 2 billion. On 31st January, 2 billion, 317 million, 425,564. Even on top of committing and giving a schedule, no coin has reached us. Your Excellency, we request that you now act because the teachers need this money more than before. Your Excellency, we thank you for the money which we received. And we want to thank you once again for pledging 20 billion for the teachers in the private institutions who were hit hard by COVID-19. Plans are underway to have this money reach the beneficiaries, and Your Excellency, I have been told even tomorrow there will be a meeting. The chairperson of the association in charge of this money is present here. The chairperson of Walimu SACCO's Union is present here, and they are here to hear your word, Your Excellency. Operationalization of the social dialogue framework. Your Excellency, this is work in progress, and we want to thank UNESCO and Ministry of Education and Sports. They have been key in supporting UNATU in this area of social dialogue. We had vehicles to support mobilizing for quality education campaign. Your Excellency, we received the remaining 2 vehicles, UBJ 598H and UBJ 610H. Your Excellency, we thank you for fulfilling your pledge. Implementation of the incentive framework for teachers. This is work in progress, Your Excellency, but like you normally do on other national days, like on Independence, on Heroes Day, like you normally give medals, Your Excellency. We request government to always recognize and appreciate outstanding teachers on World Teachers' Day celebration. And we believe this will motivate the teachers. Designation of World Teachers' Day as a national public holiday. Your Excellency, like you had in the opening prayer, We are still waiting for your response on this issue. We are not forgetting that because we are, finally, Your Excellency, allow me to draw your attention to the following matters as I conclude. Payment of salaries of teachers in the new cities. Your Excellency, teachers who were brought on board in the new cities have not received salaries for July, August, and some for September 2021. We need your urgent intervention in this matter because every time new local governments are created, public servants suffer for months without salary. And this affects service delivery and it demotivates the workers. Payment of gratuity and pension. Your Excellency, the retirement process should be automated such that retiring officers automatically access the pensioners' payroll on deletion from the active payroll. Our retired teachers are grappling with delayed and in some cases non-payment of pension and gratuity. In fact, Your Excellency, a number of them die before accessing their retirement benefits because of the stressful process. Your Excellency, the system is so sensitive that when you clock your 60th birthday, it can never forget to delete you. But Your Excellency, we are wondering where the sensitivity goes when it comes to payment. And Your Excellency, these are people who have worked for more than 30 years for government. So when they go to the village and they are like paupers, they create a bad image in the communities where they live. So we request that this should be automated and then the senior citizens go and enjoy the years they served in government, but not starting to sell their property. And of course, they are middlemen because of this stressful process. Leadership Code Act 2021. The Leadership Code Amendment Act of 2021 was assented to on 23rd April 2021 and took effect on 7th May 2021. But no publicity or awareness raising was done by the Office of the Inspector General of Government, particularly among the new categories of public officers included, such as our members, the teachers. Your Excellency, majority of the teachers do not handle public funds. Why are they being subjected to the process of declaring income, assets, and liabilities? Where is the justification? Regrettably, many teachers are even losing the little money they have to conmen and middlemen who have taken advantage of the information gap and are asking teachers to pay money for their data to be uploaded on the IGG system. Your Excellency, we have no problem with head teachers and deputies declaring since they handle public funds. Universal education programs. Your Excellency, at the 2020 World Teachers' Day celebrations, you requested UNATU to support you with strategies on how to make universal education programs successful because your dream is to ensure that even Uganda's poorest learners have access to quality education without pay. a position that we support entirely. We request for audience with you on this matter at earliest time possible so that we discuss it in detail and forge a way forward. Launch of the Education Still Matters campaign. Your Excellency, we request that you officially launch UNATU's Education Still Matters campaign, which is meant to act as a beacon of hope to inspire, motivate, and reassure learners, teachers, parents, guardians, government, and the general public that though schools and education institutions are closed, an investment in education is still paramount. We hope to build optimism through collaborating with the Ministry of Education and Sports and all the key education stakeholders and sensitize the public not to give up or sideline education. Launch of Appreciate My Teacher campaign as an annual event. Your Excellency, we also request that you officially launch this Appreciate My Teacher campaign as an annual event where all stakeholders dedicate time to say thank you to the teachers in a form of their choice. It may be a message of appreciation, it may be a gift, it may be hosting that teacher. Every year, the month of October will always be Appreciate My Teacher Month, with the main event being celebrating World Teachers Day on 5th October. Your Excellency, and our beloved First Lady, Honorable Minister, we kindly request you to appreciate one or two teachers who taught you and made an impact in your life as part of launching this campaign. Your Excellency, mentioning the teacher who made that difference in your school life will set the good example of this Appreciate My Teacher, and the others will follow. We also request you, if possible, to make a call to all Ugandans to appreciate teachers during this month of October. We call upon religious leaders to pray for teachers as we move to reopen schools. As I conclude, I would like to thank our Mother Ministry of Education and Sports, the Ministries of Finance, Planning and Economic Development, Public Service, Gender, Labor and Social Development, Local Government, and Kampala Capital City Authority, as well as UNESCO, UNICEF, Enabel, Peace, and all our partners for their continued support to UNATU and the entire teaching fraternity. Your Excellency, we know that providing quality education to our nation's children is regarded as one of your priority areas. The reason you started UPE, USE, and UPORET. As teachers, we pledge to work and support you in this noble cause of achieving quality education for national development and achieving Sustainable Development Goal number 4, which talks about provision of inclusive education, which is equitable, quality in nature, and provides for lifelong learning. And we all believe that SDG 4 is a link to all other sustainable development goals. Your Excellency, allow me to end here, because we are for God and my country.
Join me once again to applaud Mr. Baguma for his, should I call it a long speech? For his words. They are supposed to have been our World Teachers' Day messages. For his words that were loud and clear. Let us appreciate him. And the whole team of UNATU. The next part of our program is going to go like this. We will have the Honorable Minister of Education and First Lady, Mama Janet Kataha-Museveni, give her remarks, and then she will invite for us His Excellency the President to address us. After that address, before His Excellency and Mama probably retire out of this function, as Mr. Baguma has mentioned, Your Excellency, they are requesting you to launch the Education Still Matters campaign. So there will be something for signing. I'm sure the security have had it prepared. And then, once again, they are requesting that you appreciate, and Mama appreciates your best teachers, or the teachers who have made a difference in your lives. You are a great teacher, and so you are a model, and that function is very, very critical and fundamental for the entire country. When that is done, Your Excellency, the people present here are requesting that you give them a minute for historical photo moment. And I'll read out the groups of people who come and have pictures that they will live to remember the celebration of Teachers' Day during COVID time in 2021. So as we wait for the Honorable Minister to come back, I would like to thank this team that has been here, and I'm sure that they are actually getting a bit tired, so I want to request you to stand. And to stand and confirm what Mr. Baguma talked about. He said currently the most urgent thing is to see how the recovery of learning loss can take a center stage. He followed it with a statement, teachers are ready and committed to do this. So if that is true, you are going to sing a little song which says, if you are happy and you know it, say I am. 1, 2, 3, we go. If you're happy and you know it, say I am. I am. If you're happy and you know it, say I am. I am. If you're happy and you know it and you really want to show it, if you're happy and you know, say I am. I am. Great. When teachers are happy, they make things happen. You can take your seats. Mama, now I want to request that you come and address us, and then invite for us the chief guest, His Excellency, the President of the Republic of Uganda, to address this celebration of Teachers' Day. Thank you, Mama. Most welcome.
Thank you so much, Kedris. Okay. Mr. President and honorable ministers of education who are present here today, education development partners represented by the Irish ambassador, the leadership of UNATU, invited guests in your various capacities, our teachers, ladies and gentlemen. Mr. President, this year we celebrate yet another World Teachers' Day. And I must say, Happy Teachers' Day. We are celebrating it in a very difficult time, occasioned by the COVID-19 disruption, as we all know. I want to thank the President for his continuous guidance to our sector since the outbreak of the pandemic that led to the closure of education institutions in March 2020. For the past 18 months now, those of us who pray, and I know many of us do pray, we have prayed in earnest, and we believed God to lead the country and the education sector with his mighty hand and use the President indeed to guide the sector to open in God's own time. Therefore, as we celebrate this World Teachers' Day, we do give glory to God, for thus far he has led us. We appreciate the decision the President took to close schools when it was necessary to save lives, and to open up for candidate classes to complete the cycle of education at that time, when it was possible to do so. The window before the second lockdown enabled all candidates to complete and also enabled the sector to open up for some learners who will also be able to progress to their next classes. We are very grateful for the firm measure that the government took to ensure that the children remain safe, and we do thank God that we are beginning to see the light at the end of the tunnel now as we prepare for the opening. To the teachers and to our distinguished guests, I welcome all of you to this national celebration of the World Teachers' Day being held here at Kololo Independence Grounds, and congratulate all the teachers of Uganda for standing strong during this very difficult season. As a ministry, we do understand the challenges that the teachers, our frontline soldiers, are grappling with. Believe me, we pray, and we believe that these challenges are not insurmountable, because we must remember, and when we feel these challenges, we must also put them in their right perspective, because we must remember our colleagues, the medical component, that were right there when COVID-19 was at its highest. They did not run out of the hospitals. They were there. Some of them actually died during that time. So we can't cry for ourselves alone and forget that our colleagues were there when the time was really dark, and they did not run away. And now, we cannot run away either. My prayer, therefore, is that these struggles will make us stronger, will make you, the teachers, stronger, more creative, and open your minds to new ways of doing things, and probably draw all of us closer to our people, especially those at the grassroots. Someone said that life is 10% what happens to you and 90% how you respond. Your response in this season, as you allow God to lead you, will be very instrumental to you as individuals, to the teaching profession, and to the country at large. As you are all aware, World Teachers' Day is annually celebrated on the 5th of October. But we could not hold it on the debt because the president was out of the country, and yet we had invited him to be our guest of honor. We thank God now that indeed we are here today, and we thank you, Mr. President, for choosing to postpone this function, that you may be present today. For I believe that the teachers in this country needed to be inspired again, indeed to be reminded of where Uganda has come from and the challenges we have overcome as fighters of the national resistance movement, and remind them that they too are our foot soldiers in this sector, and they must be strong. Mr. President, the education sector continues to be greatly affected by the effects of the pandemic. The closure of education institutions has affected not only the teachers, but the learners themselves, their parents, and the society as a whole. The whole country is now yearning for the reopening of education institutions. And we thank you for your recent address, during which you granted a request for institutions of higher learning to open in a staggered manner, starting by the 1st November 2021, believing that the learners and staff are being vaccinated. Mr. President, we now have information that over 60%, and indeed the ambassador of Ireland said that we hope that this is now over the 60%. But at least the information we have is that 60% of the teachers are now vaccinated, and the rest are ready and striving to be vaccinated before they resume work in their institutions. I want to thank you, NATO, and all stakeholders who supported the mobilization drive. And I thank the teachers for embracing this effort, and indeed we look forward to a safe reopening of our institutions. Today is a special day for the teachers of our nation, and we are here to show support and recognize the central role teachers play in nurturing our young generation and in nation building. We recognize the challenges that they have faced, and we mourn together for those that lost their lives and those who lost their loved ones during this pandemic. But we must give praise and honor for the protection God has given a greater number of the people of Uganda, as indeed it is right to acknowledge the fact that God has been gracious to us compared to what we know happened in many other countries in the world. The General Secretary of UNATU has raised some concerns that I'd like to respond to. On education financing, I need to let you know that government is doing all it can to ensure quality education, which is only possible through adequate and timely release of funds, as you did put it. However, we must appreciate that government has, during this pandemic, focused on what the President refers to as survival. Survival which is largely healthy, mainly on health and safety of the people of Uganda, and so we may not be able to increase resources for now. But we will try to ensure what is available is released in time to enable schools prepare for reopening. On continuous professional development of teachers, I want to assure you that this is a priority intervention that the sector has already embarked on, because there is absolute need to reorient and refresh teachers to the new normal and stabilize them to return to work after these 18 years, and the Ministry of Education knows better about this. On operationalization of the teacher policy, the sector is already in advanced stages with the establishment of Uganda National Institute of Teacher Education, and a draft bill for the establishment of the Teachers Act that will establish the National Teacher Council will soon be presented to Cabinet and subsequently to Parliament. Number 4, on engagement and involvement of UNATU. I want to thank UNATU for the involvement they are willing to do. And I'm sure this is already taking place and will continue working together to stabilize our education system. Those days when UNATU was not working with the Ministry of Education are long past. We now hold hands together. We discuss issues together. We involve you in mobilizing the teachers like you are doing. So really, I think this is ongoing, I believe. Number 5, on vocational and teacher education. The sector is cognizant of the need to prepare teachers for the new normal and future emergencies and plans that are already underway to equip teachers with new methods of delivery, including e-learning. The methods of delivery aside, let me say something about the work environment. We need to learn to use motivating methods of work instead of forever complaining or finding ways to discourage and put each other down. I want to say to you all, remember, please remember, especially in times like these, which are difficult for all of us, remember that we are all Ugandans and we have to pull through these difficult times together. All this, when there is discouragement and putting each other down and only complaints, does not help us. What it does is to demotivate and exhaust us and deny us the rich contribution that each individual brings to the table. Number 6, on recruitment of teachers. The sector has plans to recruit more teachers. We know and we are sure that we are short of teachers, and that does not really help us to see the quality of education improve as all of us want to see. But every time we discuss the recruitment, we have to go back to the Ministry of Finance to discuss whether they will support this with the financing to pay the teachers. Because without getting the salary of teachers that we need, we cannot recruit. But we are discussing that. We are even having some of our technical institutes that are complaining loudly that they need more teachers, and we are short of teachers at every subsector. But we are working on this. We are hoping that something will come out when we are out of this very difficult time. Now, on the President's grant of 20 billion to the private teachers' circles. Mr. Baguma, you were present recently, and even the chairperson of the Private Teachers Association was present recently when I was addressing the media at Nakasero, just recently, talking about this issue. And I can't count how many times we have tried to explain to the public as a sector about this issue of the 20 billion for the private teachers. But I'm happy because you said that now even they know that this is coming to an end. I believe we are at the tail end of this problem. But nonetheless, I'd like to inform all listening to me that the Ministry of Education worked very closely with the teachers' representatives from the grassroots to establish a national structure to oversee the management of the fund, and the process was guided by the Attorney General's office. At the time this offer was made by the President, the teachers in private schools did not have a national representative structure through which they could be equitably reached to access the funds. Following discussions with a few Kampala-based associations of private schools teachers, it was agreed that the Ministry of Education and Sports mobilizes teachers into a national body that could work with a fund manager and oversee the disbursement of this money. This was finalized. A National Private Schools Teachers Association was established. My ministry has already introduced this association to the Microfinance Support Center and Ministry of Finance, Planning and Economic Development to agree on the modalities of the disbursement of these funds. Whereas it has taken some time to operationalize this grant, this was necessary to ensure that the money is well managed and it reaches its beneficiaries. I thank UNATU for the commitment to educate recovery and initiating a campaign on the importance of education and giving hope to those who have lost hope that education still matters. I also thank you for the mobilization of the public to recognize their teachers in appreciation of the role they have played in each of their lives. Mr. President, I'm sure it will please you to launch these campaigns to flag off government partnership with UNATU in motivating teachers and sensitizing the public on the importance of education in all circumstances. My call to you, dear teachers, is to remain resilient and know that you have a duty to provide leadership in this region, because that is what God has used Uganda to do now for a long time. Have you seen what our sportsmen and women have done in this difficult time? You teachers can now do that when schools open. You are going to lead others and give hope to our region and ensure that education will stand up and show that it has not died, that the teachers have not changed, and that Uganda's education will be lifted up and it will thrive. It will not die. Please remember that you are indeed at the heart of education recovery, as somebody has already said. Now it is your turn to go to the bush and be the resistance movement. It is the turn of the teachers of Uganda now to lead from the front. Be the resistance movement and show Uganda and show this region that the teachers are going to revive our education sector. The schools out there will become alive suddenly, and the children will do well if I know the God I believe. We rely on your professional ability to ensure that our learners acquire the knowledge and skills they need through the schooling system to be useful to this nation. When schools open, let us all be open to working outside the normal routines we have been used to. I urge you to embrace change, learn new delivery techniques, be as creative as possible, and give your best to the learners. I am confident that working together and with God at the center, we will recover. Once again, I wish you all a happy Teachers' Day, and God bless you It is now my pleasure and honor to invite the President to address you. I thank you.
Oh, thank you, Sudan.
I smile when I think of you, Uganda, my home. My home, I dance when I look at you, Uganda, my home. Oh, my Uganda.
I know with you I'll always stay forever. I know, because I feel that we belong together. My home. Under the sun so bright, under the moon at night, on my heart, mommy, oh my Uganda.
Hey, mama.
My Uganda.
Oh,
My Uganda.
oh,
My Uganda. My Uganda. Nikukunda. My Uganda. Amari alemira. My Uganda.
nyo
MTN, we look forward to starting another exciting journey together to grow our home, Uganda.
Oh, hello everyone and welcome to May's Minute. And I really only do have about a minute because I want to get back to Elmo. You know, these days all the changes to his usual routine have made him feel stressed. Well, you may be surprised to hear that. Just the other day I was saying to my friend Grace, Elmo is so stressed.
So please don't give me lectures about teachers. I'm also a teacher. Then, 1967, after my A-levels, I taught for longer at different primary schools, Burunga and this other, Rukoni. That's why I taught people who are big people now, like Tumuine, like some other big people whom I see around here. And then later on, I taught as a tutor at Moshi. So I am some sort of teacher. But when I come here representing 3 constituencies. Constituency number 1 are the Bush people. Abanansko, the freedom fighters. Constituency number 2 is the NRM, because some of the NRM are not Banansko. They are those who came when we entered Kampala here. There are many of those. And then thirdly, I represent the people who keep saying Aveo, Aveo, you know those people also. I think last time there were more than, they said there were 6 million, but actually they cheated our votes. And most of the spoiled votes were ours. They were spoiling our votes. So the number is more than that. So these people, you should listen to their message carefully, because we have been in these struggles, some of us for almost 60 years now. So you better listen to what we advise you carefully, because we know what we are talking about. You have seen so many failed states in the world, even in Africa here. There are very many of them. Countries which have failed, which can't operate, where teachers can't teach. And Uganda was one of them. Because I remember at one time there were so many teachers of Uganda who were running away to teach in Kenya, to teach in Southern Africa. Many teachers. So the NRM analyzed what the problem was and has provided a package of solutions. But somehow, some of you people seem not to pay attention to that. You spend so much time talking about things which are really not correct. And it's good that I'm here to help you remember those points. Now, I think this must be the problem of the Secretariat, the NRM Secretariat. They seem not to be in touch with you people, because otherwise you would have remembered the laws, not principles really, the laws of what we call political economy. Political economy is the study of the science of the laws that govern the motion of society. How does society move forward from one level to another level? Those laws are there. And for us, we in the NRM, we know them. That's how we've been able to build a viable force that rescued Uganda. Uganda was rescued by the NRM, not by any other group. Now, the first law of political economy is to know what we call the primer of social change. Primer is an instigator, something that instigates other things to happen. Primer, P-R-I-M-E-R. In the gun here, the needle, the one which strikes the bottom of the bullet and the bullet flies off, is the primer. So, what is the primer of social change? I'm surprised the NRM doesn't get in touch with you, the Secretariat. And people like Brigadier Matsuko and this so-called Secretariat, there's a Patriotism Secretariat in the Prime Minister's office, I think, President's office. They seem not to be in touch with you. Now, the primer of social change in the whole history, in the 4 million years of society, because man has been here for 4.5 million years. In all of those years, the primer of social change is the advance of science and technology. So this debate you are having, who is more important, who is what, shows that there's something you don't seem to know. When man invented fire 1.5 million years ago, this was a technological leap. Because before that, people did not have fire. Society did not have fire. But when they invented fire, society changed completely. People who were living in trees, they were able to descend and live in caves because they could now go into the caves and light fire and so on. People who were eating raw food, they could now cook and roast food. So you can come through history and you see that if you do not deal with the issue of science and technology, that society will not move. So therefore, this idea we are telling you, please, we want to increase the salaries of all the teachers and of all the public servants. But if we don't have enough money, what do we do? Why don't we start with some that are most needed? And these are the science cadres in different areas. But now, this is our ideology from the bush. It's not a new position. Even when we came, you remember we started giving more scholarships for science education. So therefore, this resistance you are launching against our long-held position is not correct. I would advise you to really calm down and stop obstructing our plan because it is well thought out. If you look at most of the activities in production of goods, especially goods, they are all science-based. Farming is science-based. Can you do farming without science? Even primitive science is science, the one of our parents. Pastoralism, fishing, artisanship, manufacturing, that is all production of goods. All is based on science. When Africa was colonized, it was not because we lacked dancers and storytellers and musicians. We had plenty of those. You see them at these clowns who were in the courts of the kings, musicians, what have you. We had plenty of them. But we lagged behind in science and technology. That's why the problem of Africa. It is not because of anything else. And that's what we cannot repeat again. We cannot repeat that. And nobody should be hustling about this. Now, the services, because there is production of goods, food, implements, chemicals, vehicles, those are goods. They are produced by science. Services are also important. Music. Once I have eaten, science has solved my problem of food. I can listen to music. It's good. It also makes my life better. I can listen to Shakespeare, literature. I'm a literature person myself. But I cannot say because I'm a literature person, I forget what is the base of society. Base of society is science. So please, stop this argument. These arguments show that you don't know what you are talking about. And of course we shall not be influenced by that, because we cannot, again, miss the history, the birth of history. Africa cannot do that mistake again. We are already far behind. The other societies have gone through 3 industrial revolutions. They are now entering the 4th one, the one of artificial intelligence. And we are trying to catch up. The first industrial revolution, the second one, the third one. All these left Africa behind. So I'm surprised. This must be the mistake of the Secretariat and the patriotism Secretariat, the one in the President's office, who don't engage you and really, all these teachers should know this. I am a person of literature and history, but I am the one who is leading the crusade of having science-oriented education, leading. The others are there, but emphasis must be given to the science, because that's what life really hinges on for the last 4.5 million years. So services, music, literature, religion, praying for me. Once I have eaten, thank you very much. You can come and pray for me. Once I am in the hospital, I have not died, you can come and bless me. Religion. If I die, you can also come and pray for me. So, but science, food, medicine, transport, weapons. We were conquered by the Europeans because we didn't have gunpowder. Not because we lacked courage or what. No. So this debate should not be among you. That means that the Secretariat are not doing their work, and the other group, these who are in the patriotism group. So services are there, the social sciences are there, they have a role, but a society to survive, must not lag behind in science and technology. That was our problem, the problem of our ancestors, especially the kings. The kings would sit there being flattered by these clowns who run around them and neglect, because the Europeans didn't come here in one day. Since you study history, you know that Vasco da Gama went around the Cape of Good Hope in 1498. That's when Vasco da Gama went around South Africa, and he passed by Mombasa. And information was coming that some people are coming, some powerful people are coming. So these chiefs here, instead of preparing, instead of knowing that there's some new danger there, they were just here, just being flattered by their clowns. And these fellows came, and now you remember Huntington Speke came here 1862. You calculate from 1498 to 1862. It's almost 400 years. Why would these wonderful chiefs here, kings, powerful king, this one, we had a small king in Mbarara there. He was called Rubambansi. That he was the controller of the whole world. Which world were you controlling? Just, you know, we cannot go on with that blindness. NRM cannot accept that. We patiently walked through the bush. We taught peasants to fire guns. Now, don't waste our time, please, with those arguments. Don't waste our time with those off-the-point arguments. So the crucial discipline that is crucial in the immediately. The others are all important. Literature, I'm very useful. Literature, if you want me to quote Shakespeare for you, do you want for me to repeat for you Julius Caesar? I can quote for you now so that you saw that my brain is working. Of all the wonders I yet have known, it seems to me most strange that men should fear seeing death, a necessary end will come when it will. That I think was Brutus or something like that in Shakespeare. But okay, I have quoted Shakespeare, but people are suffering from corona. How will my quotation cure the corona now? We need medicine for corona. My knowledge of Shakespeare doesn't solve that. Let the people be cured first, and then I can come and talk, quote to them Shakespeare when they are around. So please, don't waste our time again. And then you say that you are teachers' union. Teachers' union, what? What are you? Teachers should be informed. Now, on the issue of corona, no, I was about to tell you the one branch of the social sciences that is immediately, and that's where you can play a role, you people. You studied, like me who studied Shakespeare. I acted there was a play called The Murder in the Cathedral by one of those authors. All those things, I read them. But in terms of wealth creation, what is immediately needed, apart from the science, the biology, the physics, the chemistry, the mathematics, what is immediately needed from the social science side is entrepreneurship. is entrepreneurship. You remember economics, the 4 factors of production: land, labor, capital. Number 4 is entrepreneurship. Because entrepreneurship is very crucial, because it is the one that can put together, that can have the eyes, the spectacles to see opportunity where it is. And all of you can be entrepreneurs. Even if you studied literature like I did, you studied Greek, so that you come and talk to our people here. You studied Latin, sanctum sanctus. Thank you very much. But now, we need food here now. We need medicine. We need items of transport. We need building materials. So you can put together, through entrepreneurship, put together the necessary ingredients of land, labor, and capital. Using the scientists, you will be employing scientists. They produce a good for you. That's a very, I wouldn't say most useful, it's the immediate one. Then the other services can come later: the music, the storytelling, the religion to bless. They can come later. But first, we must emphasize science. Now, when it comes to Corona, again, I'm really surprised about the debate. Of course, Mr. Baguma has invited me to perform and I think we call it in English redundant action of launching Education Matters. It matters, of course. What do you have to say that? So when I'm launching it, I will say I am launching the obvious. Because Baguma and his committee are behaving as if we don't know that education matters. Who said it didn't matter? When was it said, and who said, education matters, but we had to survive. I really don't like this question of people being, not knowing what to do what. The Bible says, the book of Manyankole call it Mburzi, Ecclesiastes, says there is time for everything. This time was for survival. And I'm very, very proud that we shielded our people from dying. I was watching TV just the other 2 nights ago. There's a country known as Brazil. They were showing that Brazil has reached the level of 600,000 deaths. Abafu emitwaro enkaga who died from corona. 600,000 dead in Brazil. You teachers union, you must be having this internet. You go and check how many people died in Brazil. I was told yesterday that there were 600,000 the other night. The US, those ones reached 600,000 long ago. 600,000 dead. All these European countries, you go and check how many people died here, died there, died there, died there. Am I going to say that I am happy that our people didn't die so much. We were able to save our people. We have reached now 3,000 something. All this month, 1 year and 7 months, only 3,000 people have died. You think that's not important? Education, the good thing, maybe some of the problems that some of you have never seen problems. I had to interrupt my life for 8 years in Tanzania fighting Idi Amin. 8 years. Whatever I was doing, I left. We left, not me alone. 5 years in the bush. That's a total of 13 years. Now, we came back. Is anybody better off than myself? The one who lost 13 years? The thing was to survive. As long as I survive, even if I lose time, even if I lose what, if there is such a big danger, it is better than dying. Oh, pregnancy. Pregnancy, that means there are 2 people now instead of 1. You know, when I hear these people talking, are these children or what? Or are they adults? Eh? When we went to fight, some of the children left school and joined us in the bush. Some were young children. They went out and joined us in the bush. When we came back, after many years of fighting, we started a Kadogo school for them in Mbarara there, a Kadogo school. So all the Kadogos in the army, you come and resume your abandoned education. Next year on the Teachers' Day, I will bring those Kadogos. Here. The ones who left education, went and joined us in the bush, fought. Then long after many years of getting out of school, they came back. We opened a special school for them in Mbarara. Many of them are now doctors. What? You cannot. I thought teachers knew something about like and unlike terms. That's what I had when I was still in the education system. There are like and unlike. You cannot compare the uncomparables. Don't compare death with losing time, losing jobs, losing money. That is reversible. I can lose today, tomorrow I will gain. But death is irreversible. You are dead, finished. So how can you go on comparing these two, like and unlike terms, and then you say you are teachers? What are you teaching now? To compare the uncomparables. There's no way we can compare death with loss. I lost 13 years of my life. But I am here. I even came back with a wife. And with children, because I didn't have a wife when I went. So please stop. It's good you have given me opportunity to lambast this confusion. Even our people, our Baganda people, they know this. They say, Ekitata muyima tekimara. Do you have real Baganda here? Kanda oba wari Baganda dara. Kati oba wari Baganda aja amara yorugero rwangoro. Anyambe okumara yorugero. Jangu kumzindaro wali bakola munyengo sikwetaga. Abaganda abalala. Genda weyanjire ate ntegere dda nti oli Muganda ddala.
Erinnya eryange nze Namande Grace Nakanwagi neddiranga akabbiro Jerengesa. Ekitatta muyima tekimmalako nteezo.
Owulidde ssebo n'ennyabo. Nakanwagi atuyambye. The Baganda were able to study their neighbors, the Wanyankore, the cattle keepers, the Bahima. Say, if a Muhima doesn't die, even if he loses cattle, he will get new cows. Because so what is important is life. So please stop this. This is wrong. Of course, for me, I will not listen. As long as God has put me here to protect my people, I can't listen to all this confusion. Pregnancy. Jobs. I don't know. You go and do something else. If you are running a bar, and the bar has been closed by a catastrophe. Olumbe, Ruze, Nebagamati Okwetasa, Mugareo Bara, Nebera one town. Then I get stuck. I go to the village and start cultivating potatoes. Has Corona stopped cultivating potatoes? If you plant potatoes, will they not grow? Will Corona stop them? Yeah, this Corona came, created problems, especially anything to do with congregating people was a problem. Now, if that is a problem, I go and do something else. As long as I am alive. So, don't compare the uncomparables. Now, coming to education policy, our strategy is clear. First of all, I want free education. I'm glad Baguma has asked me to invite you because I didn't want to collide with you people. For me, I said free education. Some of the other groups, the PTA, the what, we are bringing back charges in schools. I didn't want to clash to Nani, but I insist on it. This is the correct way. Free education for all the children in the secondary, in the primary and the secondary schools, and also the tertiary. Except the children of the rich people want to go to private schools and the rich people's schools of the government. But for the schools of the smaller people, like I have got my school there in Bariregi, Okwang. Is there somebody from Lango? Somebody from, not Obua. Obua is not interesting. I want somebody more interesting. Binokan. Nyara Binokan, Lakwara. The girl. Come. Is she Lango? The boy, the one who is Lango. Okay, you go. Pacho Kwene,
Pachotio took Okwang sub-county.
Okwang? Oh, Apoyo Rubanga. The man is from my village. What is happening to my school there?
Okwang SS produced the best blind, one of the best blind candidates at senior 4 level, at a national level this year. And how many grade 1s did we get? They got 11. Oh, you can hear? Because when I introduced USE, I made my calculation when I was in Okwang. I called, because I built a state lodge for you people there when I was fighting Kony, and so I always go there. So I called them, I said, how much per capita, what do you call this? Capitation grant. How much capitation grant do you need? But when I was in that near Okwang, at that time, they calculated that if we could give each child 47,000 shillings, that we could teach free without the children paying money. And I got this information from Okwang when I was there. So this has Apoyo Bepin. Apoyo Tutwan. We are speaking our language. These people don't know what. They don't know what we are talking about. So from that time, that's when I came bold and said, now we go to USE, because at that time we were at UPE. But somehow, I don't get support from the PTA, and these children keep being thrown out of school. But Baguma has now said that you want to meet me and we discuss it. Omona, please organize for me to meet the Baguma group. And we resolve that. Now, with that, our plan is clear. One government secondary school per parish, so that the children can work from home, study, go back. One government secondary school per sub-county. One government vocational school per constituency. Per district now, but eventually we want to go to the constituency. And so on. That's our plan. So if you knew the historical role of the NRM, how NRM rescued Uganda from collapse, you would be very conversant with this, so that we would have no contradictions. The Baguma says, you are not against free education for all, but in a way you are, because of the way you talk. Because you see, we want more salary. If we don't, industrial action. Industrial action means okunteka kuninga. Uruganda ruse bulungi. Nakanwaji arazewa. Au nyimiride ntya omuntu okunteka kuninga. Jangu ano otunyonyore. Nakanwaji is short and brief to the point.
Neyanziza nnyo President. Okuteeka ku nninga kitegeeza nti bakutadde ku bw'amayinja. Obunkenke.
Ku bunkenke. How about omunugo? Omunugo okukwata omuntu wakwata bwati.
Nga bakutuga.
It's a bit different.
Kyanjawulo ssebo. okuteeka ku bunkenke n'okutuga kyanjawulo.
So what is obunkenke exactly?
Obunkenke aba ayagala okikole naye nga takusse, naye okutuga aba akutta bussi.
Okay.
Yes.
Kati awo tulina okusalawo baguma nkoze eki? Omukalabako baguma nkoze atya?
Seba akutadde ku bwamayinja.
Okay, kale. So you say you are not against free education, but actually you are. Why? You see, if we wanted to pay very high salaries, because that was the education system we found here. In 1958, when I sat for primary living in our area, in our sub-county of Ntungamo, I think we were like 4 or 5 children who sat for the primary living and went to what they called junior secondary, which is like P7. And you can go and check. In fact, I think I gave it in one of my speeches. You can go and check how many children were in the primary school, first of all. By the time NRM came into government, I wanted to go back to 1959, but that's maybe too far and unnecessary. If you go to when the NRM came into government, the children who were in the primary school were 2.5 million, I think. And the ones in the secondary were 190,000. You can go and check, because if you, that Teachers Association of yours should do that research, should have that all teachers should know this. How many children were in the primary school in 1986? How many were in the primary school in 1969? How many were in the primary school in 1959, for instance? You will be amazed. Very, very few. So that time, the philosophy of education was education for some. That was the principle. All education for some. When I went to A-level, 1965, who are being paid money, who would study free, but also be paid some allowance. And when we went to university, we would study free, but also get allowance. Yes. Now, that was all education for some. That was the principle. Abatono bafune obuyigirize bwonna. Obuyambi bwonna mbi obuyigirize. NRM came and said, this one is very dangerous. And we said, let's have some education for all. But in order to do that, now when you had all education for some, the teacher, you go and check the figures. The teachers of the government in the primary school, I remember, including the air, they were 85,000. That's what they were saying. When Amanya Mushagand, those people were in the ministry, I would say, how many teachers are there? Primary school teachers, 85,000. But now, with UPE, there are 135. How many are they now? Huh? 135,000. So that means the number has almost doubled. Now, if we wanted to pay the few very well, then we would not undertake education for all. We would maintain the other education for some and pay the few, those few teachers for the few very well. Now, we don't think that's good for the country. So, when you demand and baguma nateka kumayinja nakanwaja government bantade kumayinja. That means actually you are opposing the education for all. Because if we take on education for all, as we did, and as we intend to do, we may not pay everybody very well initially, but at least more of our people will be covered. So, in reality, the pressures you put on, especially the bunkenke, the threats are actually against education for all. What you want is that bali amanyi tubaveko, amanyi gona tugateke kugwe n'abatono abalina omukisa gw'okusoma. And that one we're not going to accept. So, now when you come to the payment for science teachers, that one I have already told you the logic. The logic is, okay, which science teachers? We are talking mainly about the secondary schools. This is where it's true that in the primary school, the class teacher is teaching all subjects because the specialization is not so clear. And in fact, in our time, the science would study in the primary school, they were not calling it science. We were calling it nature study. The study of nature. You would study flowers, you study some botany, you study the weather, the clouds. I remember those were part of nature study. Now, therefore, the specialization we want to deal with, when we come, we can talk more, but I will call Minister of Public Service to be there. But what I remember, because I'm the one who is pushing this, what I want is where the specialization is clear. Physics, biology, chemistry, mathematics for the president. I hear some government officials are getting 50 million. What? They give themselves salaries there. I refused that salary. But you challenge my authority now, and you see what happens. Getting a little salary, but everybody knows who is the president of Uganda. So please, don't mix up salary with authority. How much does the bishop get? I see you kissing the rings of bishops. How much salary does the bishop get? I don't know how much they get, but I don't think they get so much money. So stop mixing up issues. This is simply situational. We are trying to get from the pit, we are coming up slowly. Now the question is, where do we start? Because some of these science cadres are so crucial. One school was about to close, Soroti Flying School. We have got a very good school in Soroti for teaching pilots. Now, that mix-up of yours, because I am holding a senior administrative post, there are pilots before me, I should get more than the pilots. But once somebody has qualified as a pilot, in the airline, he will be paid 25 million shillings. Now, if we are to pay all these administrators 25 million now, how shall we manage? So, in that school there, this was the problem. The people in the Ministry of Transport, the administrators, the accountants, I don't know what, there's somebody called HR. Have you heard of somebody called HR? There's HR. Then there is the sweeper who is sweeping in here, HR. All those must be paid. But you don't have the money. But you need the school of pilots. So when I went there, what is the problem? You pay, you HR, are you going to pilot the plane? HR, you remember HR? If HR, you can fly the plane, you come and fly it. If you can't fly it, let's pay the one who can fly it well. You HR, you will come later. Get whatever little you can get, we can afford. But let's pay, and there are not many. The good thing is that the pilots, the instructors, we are not many, there were few. So what was actually going to kill the institution was the empaka. Either all of us get or nobody gets. That logic must be rejected because it is a logic of suicide. These instructors, the pilots, are few. They are not many. The ones who can fly the plane, they are not many. Let's pay them well, the way they would be paid if they were working in the airline. Me, the HR, I can still get whatever little I am having. And the sweeper, the one who is sweeping in here, HR, because we were told that in Makerere, once you put up the salaries of professors, the sweeper who is also sweeping in here, the professor is also like the professor. That also must be paid. I cannot believe that people can really be enemies of their own country. Why? What are you looking for? You are looking for somebody who is doing something that nobody can do. The doctor who can treat a corona patient. The engineer. The other time we had the problem of floating islands, which were about to invade the dams. We had to get engineers, our engineers. They came and cleared the islands. So these people are not many, first of all. Like when we were talking about the government scientists, they are not many, they are very few. I think altogether they are like, so we can pay them well, they do this crucial work for us well, the economy goes up, then we all join. Even that, by the time, when I retire, you have to pay me all the back pay. Because I have been getting 2.7 million all this time. Between 1986 and 1996, I was getting 150,000 shillings. That's what I was getting, 150,000 shillings between 1996, between 1986 and 1996. So even when I have retired, you have to pay me my back pay. But for now, I could not accept high salaries when we are still recovering. So this business of the way you're handling the issue of salaries, handle it, discuss, but please don't bring the, number one, don't obstruct our strategy of paying the scientists well, because we need them. We need Salute Flying School to train pilots. And because of the market price, when that pilot is not flying in the school, he can go and work in the airline and be paid 25 million. Just pay him. How many are they? 5, 6 of them. The school operates. You, the HR, when we dismiss you from here, where will you go? HR. Because this pilot, if we dismiss him from if he's not in the school, he will go and work in the airline. The HR, if he's not in the school, where will he go? And how much will they pay him? So please, number one, don't obstruct our science-led effort to start with. We are not blind to all the others. We know, but please, totulinyirira. Number two, don't use threats to try to aganinga, because it's not necessary. We are here. We are people who know what we are doing. Why do you threaten me? Why do you threaten me? Now, the supervisors and supervisees, that one I think I have answered. Baguma's forte argument. Oh, but science is taught in English. You heard how he was arguing. But science is taught in English. So therefore, if I'm English teacher, I'm also very, very important. Because if I don't teach the scientists English, he will not. That's not true. In the Cambridge school certificate, you would get, the British had actually the same line like Waguma. A boy, he would get, these distinctions, D1, D2, you remember, I think it is still the same system now. Still the same system. D1, D2, credit 3, credit 4, like that. Now, you would get a boy, and I know some of them became professors, some even became very, very senior. He would get distinctions in English, but get either a pass or a failure in English. They would give him what they were calling GCE. Not Cambridge School Certificate, but a GCE, another level of certificate, but not fail. He will get a GCE. Some of those young people went on to become professors in science. So if somebody can speak English badly, even fail, but do science very well. So please, those arguments of yours are faulty. Now, education budget, that's also another confusion. Oh, don't put down the education budget. But education budget is part of the whole effort. When we are funding defense, we are actually funding education. Because if there is no security in the country, you have heard what's happening in like in Nigeria, for instance. I don't know whether you are following what is going on in Nigeria. Huh? There's a group called Boko Haram, which is attacking schools, attacking what? I don't know whether schools there are open or closed. Yes. So, if we depending on the situation, if we are, you go to Somalia and talk of the education budget, or some of the neighboring countries like Congo and so on. So, some of the schools are closed. Do you have somebody from Kasese here? Kasese? Oh, come. Oh, and Bundubujo? Anybody from Bundubujo? You people, have you ever seen how Bakonjo look like? Babuchire.
Babuchire, Your Excellency.
Wasinje.
Now Wasinja.
Wasinja Kutsibo.
Wasinja Kutsibo now.
Where are you from? Which area?
From Buera.
Oh, Buera even better.
Near the border.
Yes. What's happening inside Congo? How are the schools doing?
Schools, Your Excellency, are doing badly because look at salaries. The community contributes and even government brings some little money. And when the government has not brought money and the community has also not brought enough, the teachers go without.
Yeah,
So,
but security, are some of the schools closed?
schools are in Eastern Congo, Butembo, Beni, schools are not operating because there is a lot of insurgents.
Yes. They are closed?
They are closed.
Yes. So, thank you. So, Wasinja Kutsibu.
Your Excellency, now Wasinja Kutsibu.
Uh-huh. So, that approach of yours, of if the budget of education is not this, it depends. We are coming from a collapse between 1971, especially 1971 and 1986. It was total collapse. And that's why some of us don't accept some of the childish things they talk, like there's what they call Maputo. You know, some people met in Maputo, and they call it Maputo, I don't know what. Have you heard of that? Kedres, what is the Maputo Declaration something? Was it health or education? Rob Sheza, you know? Tell us, please. Okay, you don't know.
Maybe I request Charles. Charles, UNESCO, do you want to say something?
Who?
Charles from UNESCO.
Annie?
Charles, would you like to say something about the Maputo agreement?
Who is Charles?
Charles.
Is Charles a useful man? Huh? Is a UN man?
Thank you, Your Excellency.
Charles, are you Ugandan?
Yes, I am, Your Excellency.
How did you become UN?
There's also, Your Excellency, UN staff in Uganda.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Tell us about Maputo, I don't know what.
Yeah, the Maputo Declaration is specifically talking about health.
Oh, health.
Yeah.
Yes, there was. You must spend 10% of the budget on health.
That was the agreed position in the Maputo Declaration.
Sit down.
Thank you.
But when I spend, depending on the situation, when I spend on defense and there is peace in the country, I'm actually supporting health, I'm supporting education, because without that, none of those will be able to be realized. Then you come to transport, the roads. When we spend money on the roads, we are actually spending on education. Because like when we were at Ntare in the 1960s, children who are coming from Moyo to study there, we were studying with some boys from Moyo. I've forgotten one of them was that boy from Moyo. I know his children. Sometimes I meet them. They would take 3 weeks to come to Ntare. Now, a tarmac road, they can get to. So, all these sectors, depending on what one is, it's not that they are more important, but what. Now, for me to go from here to my car, I must cover this distance. I cannot say this distance I have covered is more important than the other one. No, it is simply the portion I need now, what you need now. Not necessarily more important, but what is needed immediately. I think in our prioritization, we should bring the concept of the immediate need. Not that the other ones are not important, but what we need now. So therefore, this idea that education, that the budget must be dogmatically stuck to is not correct, especially for people who are coming from problems. I can tell you that. When we are fighting, we would say what is crucial is food, gun, and ammunition. Clothes, optional. Because a naked person can shoot you and you die. So, you would find people with buttocks outside. But they can shoot you. That's how we manage it. There is what was immediate. Food. Not even medicine. Because medicine, we could get it from the government. Once we successfully attack, we take government medicine. So what was crucial was food, so that we walk and get to where we are going, and the gun and the bullet. Actually, when I went to see Gaddafi, I met Gaddafi on the 21st of June, 1981. And he asked me, he said, what do you need? I said, ammunition and a gun. You don't want men? I said, no. You don't want clothes? I said, no. You don't want medicine? I said, no. Ammunition and a gun, finish. On the K. Gaddafi was surprised. Because Gaddafi used to support many people, they would come and say, we want money, want radio for propaganda. Radio, once I shoot you, then propaganda is... So please, if you are dealing with the problems, ask people who have dealt with problems before, and I'm here. I am here, I will give you free consultancy. You don't have to pay me, I'm just here. How to work with little Baguma banange, wana baguma n'ensonga z'abaguma banange. Now, he has now brought new confusion. That because of social distancing, that means the children will need more space, and therefore we shall need more classrooms, and therefore we shall need more teachers. But now confusion yabaguma. This social distancing is when we still have the corona, and we only brought it for this what do you call them? These who are completing, the finalists. What is the word we use for them? The candidate classes. You get a school like Masaka SS, where I went once to talk. That school has got 4,000 students in normal times. So for the candidate classes, they were like, candidate classes are like 10% of the whole population or what? Huh? About 500 for Masaka SS. So we tactically said, let the candidate classes go back, and because the whole space is empty now, they social distance. But when schools open, there will be no social distancing. That's why we are saying we vaccinate. They will sit normally. There will be no social distancing. That will no longer be necessary. That's why we say you vaccinate the teachers, vaccinate the workers in the school, vaccinate the vulnerable people who stay at home, and then open. So, Baguma, here you are wasting your calories with all this. Now, I'm not going to arrest some of you. Because you are aiding and abetting corruption. Because during the recruitment of teachers, I don't know, some people are taking bribes, and you keep quiet. Ate osomie, olumuyigirize. You people, you capture them for me. Bantekere kukatambi. Please, we clean the. Why do you? Ngenda kusarika neba guma gwena atandikirako. Because he knows the corrupt. He's keeping quiet. Now he's coming now to disturb my peace. Oh, to okunkabira. Mondetere obujulizi tukwata ababbi. Bring evidence about these corrupt people, whether they are in the Educational Service Committee, whether they are, I don't know, whoever they are. Kati abantu bange. Narweso waliao. Make sure that mubere baguma ku lusegere atubulira ababyabo. Otherwise, I will go for him. I say, let's arrest these people. Tubakwate. This is very nice. You are educated people. Get evidence and trick them and get evidence and we'll go for them. Those don't have to waste our time. money for the circles, the micros, where I will find out why this micro supports, what do we call them? Microfinance center, the center z'abasomesa bange baziteekawa ekyo mukindekere. Thank you very much baguma awo Nyambi. Baguma has now done something good now. Ate kirala baguma kyanyambyemu automation of retirement benefits. Awo banange baguma yogedde. Now, Katie, PS, come and answer Baguma Banange. This one is, because Baguma has said the machines, when I get 60, they are automatic. But after that, they forget. What can be? Huh? Mm-hmm. Awo baguma yogedde bino ebirala.
Thank you, Your Excellency. Your Excellency, as you are aware, pensions is a decentralized function to the districts and to the various institutions. But
No,
we can work on...
But they can all be directed. They are under the same government.
Yes. It's something that can be done, Your Excellency.
No, you are the PS in charge, because you are in charge of the welfare of the teachers in service and out of service.
Yes, sir.
Because if you mishandle me when I am out of service, how will I work well when I'm in service? So you are the head of the teachers here, administration-wise. You should follow up. Make sure that nobody mistreats your teachers once they...
We will do that, Your Excellency.
Because the computers of the center can link with the computers of the districts. There's no problem. Thank you. So please take it up and make sure you solve it. Appreciating the individual teachers. Oh, that's a good one. We always do it on Teachers' Day. We should plan for it. I have no problem at all. I support it. Oh, me appreciating individual teachers who taught me. Because I don't have particular teachers who did this or that. I was paying my school fees, they were teaching. And I actually quarreled with many of the teachers. So, I thank all the teachers. Now the teachers day for holiday. We need to discuss it in cabinet. At the holidays, not too many banang. Let's discuss it in cabinet because, you know, I also have a profession. After being a licensed teacher, I did something else. I became a soldier, and we have our day, Terehesita, but it's not a holiday. We have never asked you to make it a holiday. We normally go and celebrate by ourselves. So let's discuss it in the cabinet. The ministers, you bring it up to Chipime, to Rabe. So whether it is, because you can have your day, whether it is a holiday or not. How many holidays? We already have these holidays. The NRM Day, then Independence, then Heroes Day, the one of the 9th, then Namugongo, Independence, Christmas, Janan room. Let's go and discuss it. But as a soldier, for me, I'm happy with my Teresita, without disturbing others, or my who like my what we did. They follow. They come and we play to Nasonga Mbele na Mtutu. So let's go and weigh it. Okay, I think now I have finished all the issues. Oh, thank you so much. I congratulate the teachers. We have had a good, I must thank Baguma has tickled my mind. It is now more active, but I think I have also helped him to understand a few things so that we move together. Thank you so much.
Can we put our hands together again to thank our model teacher for the great lesson he's taught us this afternoon?
I must welcome our friends from Ireland. Some of the partners are good people, and we work very well with them, and Ireland is one of them. Actually, the Irish, Sister Kefas brought up my girls at Namagunga. But later on, she was kidnapped and taken to Ireland because all the other nuns were too old. So we missed her so much. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Your Excellency, for the great lesson. While our brothers and sisters in the legal fraternity call themselves the learned, for us in the education sector, we call ourselves the learning. We are the learning friends, and therefore every opportunity to learn, we take it serious and we learn lessons that we can eventually use as we do our great job of being great teachers. So we'll give ourselves a brief, short break as our chief guest comes back. And when he comes back, then we'll have the launch of the Education Still Matters. I'm sure that it will be placed at a strategic point where His Excellency the President and the First Lady, our Minister of Education and Sports, will sign on as a launch of this campaign, that those who may have already lost hope, those who may have already dropped cold feet, will now be awakened to the fact that education still matters, it is still valued, it is still a pillar for everything that happens in this world. And so we are very happy that His Excellency and the First Lady are going to launch it for us. After that launch, we would have the photo moment. We had hoped that he would also launch the My Best Teacher, but he has explained it out, that to him all teachers mattered. And to me, I picked this as a very, very key lesson. Sometimes in our schools, we hear people saying, we have kept the best teachers for P7. But the P7 child was taught by a P1 teacher, a P2, a P3, so they all contributed, and I think it's a very important lesson to go back with and help us to appreciate all these teachers. The preschool, the P1s, and all these through the system, they are all very critical. After that signature signing of and the launch, we will have photographs. The first one would have our chief guest and our minister, together with our member of parliament, our ambassador from Ireland, the representatives of the Education Service Commission, and then the chairperson and the general secretary, UNATU, they will be in that first picture. When those ones finish, there will be a constant team, but that team will be joined by directors and commissioners, the representative of UNESCO, and other key invited guests, the chairs of these different financial groups. And then finally, we would have the teachers, and the teachers will be in two groups, and Mr. Baguma will guide on who comes in the first group and the last group. So we can now have the function of launching, reminding all those who have been discouraged and lost hope that actually education still matters. It has been mattering, it still matters, and it will matter. Welcome our President for that launch. Can we appreciate His Excellency as he launches our campaign, Education Still Matters. We are calling upon all leaders of all nature, the parliamentarians, the members of cabinet, the different local government leaders, to continually advocate for society to encourage and support education. We now have our minister also signing on. Minister will also sign as part of the launching team. Okay. So it's done, it's finished the launch. We can now say a very good How Nation and clap for the launch is done. The team organizing the photographs kindly come in quickly so that we have the photographs done and finished, and we'll release our guests to get back home. Those in charge of the photo moment, quickly bring the chairs for those who have to sit. Can I request now, Your Excellency, the Ambassador, to join in, the Ministers of State, our Member of Parliament, Chairperson of the Board of Trustees, Birungi, please join that first photograph. The PSCs, the Permanent Secretaries, and the team from Education Service Commission, please join in that picture. Some will be seated and then others will stand behind. Will stand behind them. After that first picture, the line that is standing will move off, and then we'll have directors, commissioners, representative of UNESCO, the chairs of these funding teams, would have you come and be part of the photographs. And then the third round will be the teachers. And among the teachers, we'll have the southern region, northern Karamoja, Busoga, southern, western, central, West Nile, and eastern in the first group. And then the second group will include the rest. Yes, yes. Charles, you are joining in the second group. So, Charles, can we have you in the second group with directors? and then we'll go find another one will be there. Maybe we just do first serve, the first like 10 will be there, then the next round we'll take the next ones. So I think we can have those for now, and when they finish, we'll get another group. But we are very, very thankful to Your Excellency and Mama and all of you, our guests, for coming to celebrate with us the Teachers' Day. Happy Teachers' Day, Teachers of Uganda. Happy Teachers' Day. So we have the next one. We have the next group. You'll be guided how many can fit. Then you wait for your turn, okay? Just wait for your turn. That's okay. We shall all have pictures with our chief guest and Mama. We shall all have those historical moments. It's not every day when we meet them, so we are delighted to be part of those pictures. Okay, the next round, I think we have two more. One round will go on, and then we'll have the last one. The anthems, yeah, tell them be ready. When the pictures are done, we shall have the anthems. We do the East Africa, one stanza, and then Uganda. Just wait, there will be another round, don't worry. All of you will have a picture. All of you will have a picture. As soon as the last group is done, let us stand for the anthems. There is a group she can join. There are not many. This last group. Thank you very much, the photographing team. Can we now all stand for the anthems? Let us stand for the anthems, starting with the East African anthem. you a safe journey back. Happy Teachers' Day. Let us appreciate the band for the great job they have done. Thank you so much, Police Band, for wonderful, wonderful music.
Get to the invited, you get to pass the yes. So that we don't have collision there.